injury attorneys at The Advocates can't actually prevent you from being in a cycling accident. They will be by your side to support you following your accident. Our legal services won't cost you a dime out of pocket. So when you need an injury attorney, call us. We're The Advocates, your Utah personal injury attorneys. You didn't deserve to be in an accident, but you do deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, you guys. How the heck are you? The Monty Show is always presented by our good friends at The Advocates. TheAdvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. Was talking to a bro yesterday. My guy Kent fell off a ladder. He is a roofing contractor. And he's like, no, I'm self-employed. Do you think I can? Dude, I'm not a lawyer. Call The Advocates, which is what he did. That's what always happens. Don't reach out to me. Get to TheAdvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. You get hurt at work. There's so many questions about workman's comp. Am I going to get paid? Do I still have a job? How am I going to pay my mortgage, my rent, my car payment while I'm unable to work? Let The Advocates take that load off your mind so you can rest and recover and get back to the best version of yourself. The Advocates, where you can chat with an attorney 24/7, 365, and it won't cost you a dime at TheAdvocates.com. Good morning, Jake. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. Aaron Wilson says that you're fake and you're AI. Or no, that's Pete Forte. Aaron Wilson apparently is on some bender
tortillas
because Pete Forte first went in. Pete has now changed his name to AI Bot because Aaron Wilson continues to attack him. Okay. The comment section tends to get wild and out here. And the other thing that Aaron Wilson, I don't understand is why do you keep saying Rip Gumby?
Yeah, dude's not dead.
Dude is not dead. Joking about people being dead, probably not funny. OG Gary, hello. Michael Smith, Mountain Mama. You gonna trim that beard or what? Chad Carter, more last than Gary. Exactly right. And I do believe once Jaden Daniels plummets down the draft board,
well, being that he's such a garbo quarterback, I mean, it's obvious that that's going to happen.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Bust.
Yeah. Come on.
Someone will need to do. I'm kidding.
Because it's garbage.
Totally kidding. Chad Carter also says, Mike, don't tell me what to do. I'll hit the like button because you told me to, but not because you told me to. I can't read. Hit the like button, hyenas. Hit the like button. I knew San Diego State fans were bots, according to Aaron. Okay. Aaron Wilson is awake, Dakota Tubbs says. Apparently. It is what it is. Pete Forte now saying someday I'll be real. Okay. Sorry,
you're fake, dude. That must be a difficult thing in life.
It's so weird to me that we're like, okay. I am all for Jaden plummeting down to 14. Let me ask you this, because today obviously is the NFL draft. Is there one player that you feel like is the perfect fit for your team? Now, as a fan of the Chicago Bears, I would tell you Joe Alt.
Mm-hmm.
If I could have any player in this draft, I think Joe Alt is the guy that I would want the Bears to take. Not quarterback, but when you have the number one pick and you have circumstances and you can't do that. But I think for the Chicago Bears, Joe Alt would be my guy.
Yeah, Joe Alt's certainly on the list of guys in this draft that is pretty much, can't miss. I mean, I don't know, how it gets much more reliable than that. I mean, you look at the draft and, there are obviously positions that are more reliable than others in terms of, hit probability. A guy like Joe Alt is certainly on that list of dudes who is most likely going to be an all world, contributor.
I would agree with that.
For the Bears, I think that's what's difficult, or for any team really, picking a number one. Like when you're picking a number one, obviously you weren't very good last year and you have a variety of needs. And, again, this is what I was saying before they traded Justin Fields. If you're going to trade Justin Fields, that's going to make it so that you have multiple needs that, you're going to have to figure out a way to obviously draft Caleb at 1. And then you're going to have to decide, wide receiver or O-line. And that's the thing, because this is obviously someone, it doesn't take rocket science to understand that this is someone who can move around and avoid pressure. But I'm also a huge believer, like I said yesterday on the show, when it's the NFL, like running away from pressure, you don't get to scramble for like 10 seconds regularly. This is someone who is going to have to run and know where the escape hatch is. And I think the Bears are in this position where they're almost being forced to go wide receiver, because you can go O-line, but if it's just DJ Moore and I guess Cole Kmet, and that's pretty much it. Like a defense can handle 2 guys. Once you have a third guy, that's when things start to get a little more challenging for a defense to kind of control you and keep things in line. So if I'm the Bears, yeah, Joe Alt's probably the most reliable pick, but I think, going after, again, Marvin Harrison Jr. or whatever wide receiver they covet is probably the way you're going to have to go based on where you're picking.
Well, I'd also remind you, Keenan Allen's on that club. And I don't know why. I don't know why Keenan Allen, and you're not alone in this. Most people forget that Keenan Allen's a Chicago Bear. And please don't say bear or bears. It's bear or burst. I mean, you look at their weapons, and you look at DeAndre Swift, Khalil Herbert, I would think would be back at full strength.
Mm-hmm.
I think DeAndre Swift for the Bears is terrifying to me.
Yeah.
Because I think he is coming off of the best year of his career. You never want to sign the guy coming off a career year. And I think the Bears took some risks there. I think Rashawn Johnson has a chance to be the best running back on that roster. We'll see. But they are finally deep there. They are deep at tight end with Gerald Everett and Cole Kmet. I think Cole Kmet is an absolute stud. I have no doubt about his ability to be one of the best tight ends in the NFL. And it's all going to come down to Caleb Williams and his ability to get the right shade of orange nail polish.
Mm-hmm.
And if he is able to
tell me without telling me
Nothing.
that the nail polish thing is an issue, Caleb Williams, because what did we get on Sports Center today on draft day? Oh, a heartfelt, one-off special sit down with Caleb Williams talking about, how his mom, this sweet old lady, worked 2 jobs. And, he wasn't crying after the game because they lost. He was crying because of what his mom provided for him and just the moment. Okay, dude, tell me that you're trying to run a PR campaign to settle down the nail polish thing.
Are we still on nail polish and crying?
Yes, 100%. We're gonna be on that until he shows that he doesn't do that anymore.
My biggest concern for the Chicago Bears drafting Caleb Williams is his footwork and his size. My concern is not his nail polish. You look at the list of accolades that this cat, the trophies this cat, the wins this cat's already got in the bank. I don't give a rat's ass what color he paints his nails. I don't care that he openly loves his mother and cries after his career. I don't. I am far more concerned about Caleb Williams as a Chicago Bear because I do worry about his size a little bit. There's a lot of quarterbacks in this draft that have size issues, and we've talked about this ad nauseum with Jaden Daniels.
Can you measure it?
You know, like I not everybody can be Michael Penix. They can't have big Penix energy, right? Like, and yet he's not the top pick. Caleb Williams to the Chicago Bears is going to be the top pick for a very good reason.
I don't mind him playing at 215. That's his listed weight. 6'1" is more the issue that I have. I love to see that be, 6'3", and I don't. So this is the conundrum again for the Bears. Like I don't know. Like this is going to come down to how you evaluate their roster, right? Like because you had just said, hey, well, you basically have weapons. You picked up Keenan in the offseason. Like you have people to throw the football to. You have some playmakers here to work with. So the only question really is how do they evaluate the roster? Because if they feel like, as an example, hey, Keenan Allen's an injury risk. Keenan Allen's a guy that's probably going to play 13 weeks a year, 12 weeks a year.
Yep.
So if that's your concern, then you're going to go out and get another wide receiver. But if your thought is, hey, we're going to deal with whatever happens in the wide receiver room, but we want to make sure that KO is protected, then obviously you're going to go out and get Joe Alt. And that's what I think is difficult.
Captain Revlon is my guy, Caleb Williams. If you're the Chicago Bears and you draft Caleb Williams, you cannot be faulted for that. I look at the fit, perfect fit. You want a guy who does not bend or take a knee during pressure. This guy gets better, not worse in big moments. This guy gets better, not worse under pressure in the pocket. If you add a Rome Odunze, who most people think they're going to pick at 9, if you add that guy, if Malik Neighbors, who's one of the guys that people feel like is going to drop, if you add an Odunze or a Malik Neighbors, what you are doing there is you are finally, and it almost as a fan of the Chicago Bears, pains me to say this out loud. The Bears are actually going to have enough talent, hear me out, to have 4 receiving options on the field at once. Holy shit. I said it. I know. It's crazy. It's DJ Moore and Cole Kmet are clearly your 2 best receivers. You add Keenan Allen, and then you add a Malik Neighbors or a Rome Odunze, and I think it's more likely to be Rome. I can't believe Malik Neighbors is available at 9. If this character stuff continues to pile on top of him, okay. If you add Rome Odunze to that mix in Chicago where he's not counted on to be the number 1 receiver, he's not counted on to be the number 2 receiver, he's not counted on to be your 3rd option. If he's your 3rd or 4th option for the Bears, you're in really good shape.
I'm for real.
And if your offensive line is not going to be top half in the NFL this year, because I think all of us agree the Bears' offensive line will not, but if you are going to have a backfield where you can consistently have a release valve like DeAndre Swift or Khalil Herbert, it doesn't matter how mediocre your offensive line is, because you're going to be far less susceptible to the blitz when you have not 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but 5 actual receiving targets. The Bears in my lifetime, I don't believe have ever been in a position where you can say, I can throw it to any of these 5 guys and it could be a touchdown.
Well, Brandon Marshall wasn't getting it done for you?
I mean, in all honesty, and you look at the play action and the RPO that we've seen Caleb Williams run already, he's operating at an NFL level in RPO and play action. His ability, and I know that this sometimes people get into the weeds on this kind of shit, but his pre-snap ability is already NFL elite.
Mm-hmm.
His ability to, if you look at Caleb Williams, and this is why he's the number 1 quarterback in this draft, and I don't know that anybody argues that. His ability to move defenders before the football is snapped is by far the best in this draft. I wish he had better footwork. I wish he was a little wider frame. But I don't care about nail polish. I don't care that he cried walking off the field. The kid balls out in the biggest games. And USC certainly did not lose to Utah 26 straight times in the last 2 years because he painted his nails.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is that's the biggest thing. His pre-snap ability, his ability to operate under pressure in pressure situations. That's why this kid's going to be number one. His arm is unquestioned.
Yeah.
His mentality is unquestioned in game. I love the cat. I think he's number one.
I certainly don't think you can go wrong drafting him. I think that, again, it's all situational when you get drafted. For the Bears, you're going to have to, you're going to still have to develop this guy. I hope people don't think that this is like just a guaranteed, all pro quarterback jumping on your roster here. Like, yes, he is very good. Yes, he, pre-snap is great. Yep. But ultimately, I don't care who you are. The NFL game is much faster than the college game, and he's going to have to make adjustments. And I think he'll make those adjustments, and I think he'll be just fine. But again, I'm not going to sit here and have faith in this organization to develop not only him, but a roster when they haven't done that yet. If they develop him and they truly give him the right system, he's going to be great. He's going to be absolutely great. But again, if you're asking someone to play against the grain of how they typically play, they're probably not going to give you the top end results that you want. And that's what this organization has done repeatedly.
Certainly.
And we haven't even gotten to the stadium situation and all the other distractions around the organization.
Can I have one day where we don't talk about how stupid they are?
You weren't expecting this one.
As a business unit, can we just please focus on the fact that today, coming up in 12 hours from now, when Caleb Williams is announced as a Chicago Bear, can we just live in the moment of having a big fat chub?
Stay hard.
That they got finally a franchise quarterback?
No.
Can we live in the moment that at the 9th pick,
stay hard,
you're going to have an elite, probably wide receiver weapon on this roster? Daddy? Can we please not talk about the fact that the Bears are proposing a stadium that doesn't fucking include parking spots?
Oh.
Wait, you ain't got a parking lot on that thing? What do you mean it doesn't have parking spots?
Did you guys? The Chicago Bears are proposing a stadium that does not offer. Doesn't offer parking spots. Asks for $2.6 billion in taxpayer money from the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois. The governor, Pritzker, already, when he was asked about it, he actually chuckled. There's when you have children and they hurt you because your kids, they hurt you. Remember that a certain somebody brought up the Bears stadium plan.
It's fucking Cole Beasley.
No, it wasn't Cole Beasley. It was you who brought it up.
And his name is John C.
Right? I'm just over here, Lil Montying, trying to enjoy the Bears having the best quarterback in the draft.
Facial recognition.
The best quarterback in the draft. I don't know what facial recognition that. Anyway, I'm trying to enjoy having 4 wide receiver options.
Right.
And you got to bring up the stadium.
You don't always have to be negative.
I wish you wouldn't be negative all the time.
I'm giving you a fucking answer.
San Diego State Glenn would like everybody to know he's an AI bot.
Oh.
Mike Smith, and his name is Jakey Two Holes.
Yeah.
It's actually right. Boyd Lake, they plan to have everyone teleport into their seats. James T. Kirk style. How do you propose a state? Who are you?
Pause, bro. Pause.
And their owners aren't even LDS. So this is even more ridiculous that you are. That was a Ryan Smith. I love all the assholes that last night that were like, hey, Monty, did you see they sold 29,000 season tickets? Yeah, there's only 19,000 seats in the stadium. There's a waiting list. Monty, there's a waiting list. Everybody wants the NHL, and are you not supposed to be excited about it? Everybody's excited. I hope you support.
Did you think people weren't going to show up? Like,
Anyway,
Show up.
Anyway, Dakota Tubbs, the McCaskies are not the friends of the park. Do you guys understand that the Chicago Park District in the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois and the county of Cook will own the stadium? The Bears won't even own the stadium. And they're trying to dictate how much city land they're going to take. They didn't ask. They just said, okay, the stadium you own, here's how much of the land we're going to take. There's a limit on how much lakefront acreage can be developed. Apparently the Bears forgot that because no, I'm not doing it today. Caleb Williams, I don't care about your fingernail polish. I want to win Super Bowls. And I think Caleb Williams does that. Does Caleb Williams bust in the NFL?
no, I think he hits.
I think he's a hit too.
I think he ends, and I'm being serious, I think he ends the trend of crappy USC quarterback in the league. I think he's the first guy who has non-USC roots at the beginning of his college career who's going to get drafted number 1 overall, and he will live up to it.
Yeah.
I think it may take a season, right? I think there's an adjustment period, and again, I'm going to keep saying it. The organization needs to prove that they have the goods too, and I agree that they're making good decisions on the roster. I would agree you have the weaponry, but you have to put it together now. You have to have, good OTAs. You got to have a good training camp. You got to be able to really, put this quarterback situation to bed. Bring him in, draft him, have him be the starter, start him week 1, and let's get to work. I mean, that's I don't know why it would go any other direction.
I don't know either. And let's get into it. In the comments section, drop your top 3 picks. This is your chance, Hyena, to have a say. Show us your lightning bolt.
What are you, nuts?
Who are the top 3 picks in order? Feel free to throw in a trade because I do think the Patriots are going to trade out at 3.
Mm-hmm.
Show me your lightning bolt.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 on the draft board.
The Bears.
The Chicago Bears select Caleb Williams, quarterback at USC.
Mm-hmm.
He immediately walks out with orange and blue fingernail paint. Jake, who do you have going number 1?
Caleb Williams. Yeah.
To the Chicago
Bears.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love the pick. I think he's a franchise quarterback. I think that they have done an excellent job. They knew the moment that they sucked out loud and took the heart and soul from us last year by winning games and not firing Matt Ebersucks.
What are we doing?
That they would have 2 picks in the top 10. They knew as soon as Carolina, that they'd have the number 1 pick. They knew it was Caleb Williams. They knew it.
Mm-hmm.
They've seen nothing to change that. I love the infrastructure they put in place. The Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift combination was unbelievable. I think the idea that you are deep at both wide receiver, tight end, and running back now, I think tells you that they have built the infrastructure. They have the offense. I think Caleb Williams is going to be wholly and roundly supported in Chicago by the fans and the organization. I think Caleb Williams is finally the home run that us Bears fans deserve. Caleb Williams, the number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's where things get interesting. Number 2 goes to the Washington Football Club, who's poorly named the Commanders. Who do you think they take number 2?
I agree with what everyone's saying. They're going Jaden Daniels.
Have to.
Yeah.
The slight, much maligned physical presence of Jaden Daniels justified. His spectacular playmaking, his ability to get outside the pocket, all of that makes him an elite prospect. But don't lose yourself here. I believe this is the quarterback with the highest bust threshold. I believe that Caleb Williams does line up with Trey Lance. He does line up with RG3. Both of whom.
Daniels.
Jaden Daniels does, yes.
You say Caleb Williams. Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
is he lines up with a Trey Lance. Jaden Daniels lines up with an RG3. Jaden Daniels is the quarterback in this draft with the highest bust potential. And I think if you are the Washington Commanders and Dan Quinn, and again, this is another organization that has gone out of their way to build an infrastructure with new ownership, no more porn for the cheerleaders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they have changed the culture. Dan Quinn is a culture building phenomenon in this league. Everything's in place. They are going to do what needs to be done to facilitate growth and development here. But Jaden Daniels is going to have to rapidly improve his mechanics, and he is going to have to put on significant proper weight to reach his potential as a number one caliber NFL quarterback. Because today I don't believe he's that. But he will be the number 2 pick.
Yeah.
Now the intrigue.
Mm-hmm.
What do the New England Patriots do? I don't believe they make this pick. There's too much talk in the NFL ethos. Too much talk in the ethos about them trading and they're not getting what they want. And I think that the New England Patriots are well aware that their biggest need right now is likely quarterback. But there's too much availability, and I believe that ultimately they end up with Big Penix energy. But I think if you look at the teams that are aggressively trying to trade up, the 3, 4, 5 spot is where that's going to happen. I think that the very interesting team here is Minnesota. Does Minnesota make a deal to get to 3, or are they looking at 6, 7, 8? Are they looking at 3, 4, 5? How much are they willing to give up? I think it's a very big question.
Yeah, I think they're incentivized to go out and get the 3rd pick because you don't have a quarterback right now. And I don't think Minnesota is looking to take a flyer. I don't think they want to make this pick as reliable as it can get. And yes, everyone said that, hey, JJ McCarthy is going to be available at 11, right? But what if JJ's not their number 1 guy? What if he is one of the guys that they would pick? But what if they like Drake Maye? What if, they like, Michael Penix and they shock the world, right? Like I'm a big believer that teams and organizations that have had a quarterback the way they had Kirk Cousins for all those years, and his ability and the yardage he was able to put down every single season. Now that you don't have that, you got to go out and find someone who can at least be some semblance of that. And my concern is that I think Drake Maye would be a much better fit for what they are asking him to do than JJ McCarthy would be for the Vikings. And that's why I say don't be shocked if they come off of JJ and they go with Drake and they trade up to get him.
Here's the problem in this position, though, for the Patriots. One, I think you made a terrible decision with your head coach. I think Mayo is a huge mistake. I don't believe that this franchise is an elite football franchise. I think Brady and Belichick were elite talents. I don't believe they have that anymore. I don't believe they make good decisions, which is why I believe they will trade this pick. But you want to know if they're serious about winning. If they're serious about winning, they will pick at number 3 because they have to. I don't think you can trade this 3rd pick. If you're the New England Patriots and you're serious about getting back to that dynasty before old rub and tug Bob Kraft dies and you want to win nothing, rub and tug, are you kidding me? Anyway, before Bobby Tugboat dies,
My bad.
if you want to win another Super Bowl, you'll draft a quarterback here. Because I think when you look at the available quarterbacks, there's only, in my opinion, 3 really elite quarterbacks in this draft. I think they are Caleb Williams, Michael Penix, and Drake Maye. You have the ability to get 2 of those 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Take your pick. Evaluate the talent. make a selection. And if they do that and they draft Drake Maye or Michael Penix, I have to think that they're going to put themselves on the right path forward. But sadly, if you're a Patriot fan, I believe they trade that pick. If my feet are to the fire, I think they trade it.
Mm-hmm.
When teams are openly bitching that they're not getting enough of an offer to trade out of that spot, which is what the Patriots are doing, they want a better offer. And they want to see what their highest best offer is. And I think they will take it.
Yeah.
And I think they will trade out. And my guess is, looking at the draft order, Arizona's not trading.
Nope.
They're drafting a wide receiver. The LA Chargers absolutely could trade out, but is there a more prototypical pick in this incarnation of the NFL draft than Joe Alt to the great cheater Harbaugh? I don't think there is. I think
the great cheater Harbaugh.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the Chargers get whoever that they want. The two are Joe Alt and JC Latham. And you're going to have the ability to draft that guy at 5 unless you trade out. And I think this is where it gets interesting. Do you believe that Tennessee drafts at 7? This is a fascinating question, because if Tennessee drafts at 7, I believe that they're going to take the best available offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, if there is a trade here, and the only reason you would trade up to 5, 6, or 7 is to make sure you get Roma Dunze. That's the only reason any team would trade up into that spot.
Right.
I think the Chargers are taking offensive line. I think the Arizona Cardinals are taking Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison Jr. And therefore, I think the best opportunity to get yourself a quarterback is at 3 or at 5 and 6. The Patriots had better draft in the 3rd spot. And if they do, I think they have to take Drake Maye or Michael Penix.
Agreed. Completely. I just look, man, those are the two best talents if you're drafting at 3. Like, and you need a quarterback. I mean, there's no other way around it. And yeah, I think you're right. Nobody's going to move up 3 spots when you're sitting at, 9 or 8. You're not going to move up from there unless you're trying to get a premier talent that you're concerned about not being there. So yeah, I mean, I think that's spot on. And I just think the only question that remains for the draft order in the top 10 is the Vikings at 11 and what they're going to do. Because if they're going to sit on their hands and draft JJ at 11, then I think this order stays largely unchanged. I don't see a lot of trades of picks happening here. But I think if the Vikings, they get aggressive and they're like, hey, like, we can go and get Drake Maye and Drake Maye fits more of the mold we're looking for rather than JJ, then you will see a trade. And that's what I think is very telling about this draft. This draft is different in the sense that there's so much evaluation happening of this pool of quarterbacks. Like last year, I don't really feel like, the CJ Stroud situation last year was an interesting one, but this year just feels like there's these 3 guys, then there's JJ, and then there's kind of everybody else. And it's just a question of how you want to play it. Because if you go out and draft JJ at 11 and he disappoints, you're going to look like an idiot. Because the Vikings have the assets to trade up. And if you don't do that and JJ busts, you're going to look silly.
I'm really curious if Will Levis in Tennessee is a franchise quarterback. Because they're not going to be good, Tennessee. I don't think anybody believes that firing Mike Vrabel was the right decision. It was not. I don't think anybody is sold, and I don't know how you would be, on Will Levis as a franchise quarterback. So I guess my question is, do you want one of these quarterbacks that's in this draft, or do you want Shedeur Sanders? Because I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be one of the top quarterbacks. I mean, who else is even considered a top draft pick next year at quarterback? Quinn Ewers. Can he stay healthy this year? I don't know. Carson Beck. Does that excite you?
You're not. Yeah.
I think most people would tell you Shedeur Sanders is one of the top QB prospects in that draft. Would you rather have Will Levis or Shedeur Sanders? Would you rather have Michael Penix, Free Harbaugh? Now, I mean, name your quarterback in this draft. Drake Maye or Shedeur Sanders? Drake Maye or Will Levis? Like, these are the questions that Tennessee has to balance.
Mm-hmm.
My point is, I probably stick with Will Levis and draft the best available tackle in this draft. Right? I probably get I think you have to give Will Levis this year to be a bust or a boom.
Yeah. And you got to do everything you can to protect him.
And I think you have to get offensive line there.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I think Tennessee is one of those fulcrum teams that could really change this first round. All right. So again, my top three, I think it is the Bears taking Caleb Williams. I think it is the Commanders taking Jaden Daniels. And I think it is officially my pick. If New England stays, I think it's Drake Maye. If they trade out, I think that is what's likely to happen. I think they trade the third pick.
Yeah, I think they trade the third pick, and I think the Vikings take Drake Maye. I think they come off of J.J. McCarthy.
I think they like Drake Maye a lot, Minnesota. And he is a natural fit in there. He has familiarity with their coaching staff. Their offensive coordinator was his high school coach.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's no reason for Minnesota not to get super aggressive here and trade up there. I think the Cardinals are going wide receiver. I think the Chargers trade out and eventually wind up either with that 7th or 8th spot. I don't see any way that I don't know why the Falcons would pick there. I don't know what you guys think about what the Falcons do. I think they need defense in every way that they can get it. I think that you've got to do everything you can do to get the best defensive lineman that you can get. You need edge or linemen in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I don't know how you go away from that.
Yeah, there's no way around that.
Right? I mean, is that Byron Murphy, who I think is the best defensive tackle in this draft? I don't know, but I think if we go down the board a little bit here and we go to 7 at Tennessee, that's an offensive lineman. That's Latham or that's Old. I look at number 8. The Falcons are taking defense. Why are you staying there at number 8? Why are you staying there at 8?
Yeah, it would be smart for them to trade out and try to get a couple of picks in the first round.
I think the Indianapolis Colts move up there to get the best offensive player they can find. I think they're one that I would watch there. I think the Vikings will trade up. I don't believe that they will draft there at 11. I think they move up into 7, 8, 9 territory. And I think if Minnesota moves up to 7, 8, 9, it's J.J. McCarthy. If they move up to 3, it's Drake Maye.
Yeah.
I think it's as simple as that.
But I just think I'm telling you, I think that Minnesota, like, I don't know. To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense for Minnesota to move up to 7, 8, 9. I like JJ is going to be there, when you look based on need for these other teams and in their situations, JJ should be there at 11. Like so if you're Minnesota, like in my opinion, I think it's a very simple proposition. It's who do you want? Because JJ is going to be there at 11 and there's no guarantee Drake Maye is going to be there at 7 or 8. So you need to call New England and get that trade done if you want to guarantee yourself Drake Maye. And again, you have the assets, you have everything you need to get that deal done. It's just a matter of who you believe in more. And that's what I'm telling you, when you're watching the draft tonight, obviously their pick is going to tell you who they believe in more. But if they were to decide to trade up to like 6, let's say, or 7, that just seems silly to me, given the fact that you can get up to 3 and guarantee that you can get your guy.
But that's a Trubisky style trade.
It is.
It's a lot, but I think Minnesota Minnesota's the team that should do that.
I just don't think Minnesota can afford a flyer. And everything that I've seen out of JJ coming into the league is, like his defense for, hey, why didn't you throw more at Michigan? He's been asked that a lot. His defense was the offense that we were running, right? Jim's offense is all about running and working behind that offensive line and, not taking huge shots down the field.
Why didn't Washington run more? Why did they throw so much?
Yeah. And so to that I say, hey, Minnesota is not a turnaround and hand it off offense. That's not what that is. And if you're going to draft JJ McCarthy, dude, there better be an understanding that you're drafting someone that you don't know for a fact can be even a 3,500 yard passer in the league, right? Let alone 5,000 yards like Kirk was. So to me, that's why I say Drake Maye is the much safer pick. Drake Maye has shown you he's got a cannon. He's shown you that he can move around enough to get the job done. And that's why I would play aggressive. I would take all doubt out, trade up and go and get him and then move along in the draft. That's what I would do. But again, this is why Minnesota has found a way to be mediocre every season the last 5. Like, you haven't really had a great season yet in recent memory because you're just sputtering.
Where do you think Michael Penix Jr. winds up? Because I think there's only a couple of opportunities. Certainly number 3, I think, is too lofty. I think it's going to be the Bears with Caleb. I think Jaden goes number 2 to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Drake Maye ends up number 3 in Minnesota. I think your next best opportunity is, I think it's outside the top 10. And if we're being totally honest, I think it is the Las Vegas Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the best opportunity for Michael Penix. And let's say there's not a single trade. I think that is the place where he fits right away.
Yeah.
If there's trades, I could see Michael Penix. Michael Penix's draft stock has skyrocketed from a 3rd round pick to top half of the 1st round. And I think he is that guy that you are going to regret passing on. He does not get past Antonio Pierce and the Raiders, in my opinion.
No, I completely agree. And I think, again, situation, right? The Raiders are another organization that hasn't, even with Derek Carr, the Raiders were still mediocre, right? And Derek Carr gave them some of the best football he's had to offer, and they just still couldn't get it done. And they need a fresh start. They need someone who can come in and be a 10-year solution for them. And I believe that Michael Penix Jr. has that ability, has that attention to detail, understands where to put the ball in time and space. And so for them, that's a great pick. If you get Michael Penix at 13, that's a phenomenal pick. I would be thrilled with that. The only problem is that you've got a defensive-minded head coach running that thing, and I'm curious about development and the offense you're going to run.
Yeah, I think they're committed to building an offensive juggernaut. I mean, you don't have Devontae there. You don't have now, obviously, a huge change is coming at running back. But you don't have you don't win in this league without a franchise quarterback. Antonio Pierce, the great destroyer of Arizona State recruiting tactics, is well aware that they need a quarterback. And I think he likes Michael Penix a lot. I think they in Las Vegas like Michael Penix a lot. And in my opinion, when I'm sitting at the sports book on Saturday after dominating TPC Las Vegas,
because shit's going good.
When I'm sitting at the sports book, I think the Las Vegas Raiders will have a dramatically different look offensively on Saturday night than they have right now on Thursday morning.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have to address that. The Philadelphia Eagles have to do everything they can do to get the best defensive linemen in their reach. And I think edge rusher is a hugely controversial position in this draft. I think there are 2 defensive positions that are going to be very much regretted by the teams who make the wrong choice. Corner. If you do not take Terrion Arnold as your first corner in this draft, I think you're making a mistake. And listen, I understand that Quinion Mitchell out of Toledo, Ohio, is a phenomenal talent. But you're talking about Nick Saban's last great cornerback prospect and Terrion Arnold. And I really should say, it's probably not even. A lot of people project him as a corner. I think the guy can be a safety corner hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is in the right spot at the right time every single snap of the football at Alabama. And he's coached by the best cornerback coach in the history of football, the best secondary coach in the history of football in Nick Saban. You've got to take Terrion Arnold.
Yeah, I think that Arnold is definitely one of those defensive guys who can play a variety of positions. I could easily see him playing a little bit of slot based on the concept that you're running on defense and in the given situation. You could easily see him playing, free safety again with his football
Absolutely.
IQ. You obviously his bread and butter is playing outside.
Yes.
Of course, that's what he's known for. But when you watch his film, the thing that really stands out is, like you said, he's always in the right spot. Seemingly, there's always whether he's defending a screen pass in the backfield, whether he's playing coverage and
tackling at the line of scrimmage,
right? And the other thing you notice about him is he plays physical defense without drawing penalties. And what I'm going to be really curious about in the league for him is, can he manhandle guys the way he did at the college level? Because he manhandled Brock Bowers.
Well, but I think one of the things that's very interesting about him is that you look at the way that corners in this league in the NFL have to perform. You know what he does better than a lot of other corners, and this is going to sound stupidly simplistic. Terrion Arnold catches the fucking ball.
He does.
I know it's crazy.
Yeah.
But Terrion Arnold actually catches the football.
Well, and it drives you nuts in the league when cornerbacks are in the right position. They've done everything right, and it goes to their hands.
And they put their hands on their helmet like, I can't believe I dropped that. Are you going to drop interceptions? It's part of the business. This cat, Terrion Arnold, catches the football.
Yeah.
And I think that, listen, I'm not here to tell you that that guys like Nate Wiggins or Cooper DeJean or whoever you want to point to, that's a deep spot. The Quinion Mitchell is a really good performer.
Yeah.
Terrion Arnold's a generational defensive back in the NFL. I also go to edge. I think edge rushers, Dallas Turner is a stud, but you're making a mistake. If you pass on Laiatu Latu, you're making a mistake. How do you block him? Jared Verse, phenomenal player. Laiatu Latu is just different. He is on a different level. And that is in my opinion one of the deepest positions in the draft is edge rusher. There are a lot of guys there. But man, you look at Laiatu Latu and you look at the tape on that cat. You go back and look at his performances in games. Good God, he is a monster.
Yeah.
You don't find those guys. And I like Dallas Turner a lot. And I like Jared Verse a lot. I think Jared Verse is, in my opinion, by far the best NFL draft prospect on a Florida State roster that's loaded with NFL draft prospects. Jared Verse is a hell of a player. I think Laiatu Latu is just better than all those dudes.
Yeah, and what's interesting too is it seems like every year in the draft we get to like that 15-20 range, and there's always a surprise defensive pick. There's always a team, again, like in this year's draft, again, Jacksonville, let's say, or whoever you want to look at, who it would be classic Jacksonville Jaguars to pass on Terrion Arnold and to go out and get someone else, right? That would be a classic mess up in the draft, And so that's why I say, I think this, when you're watching the draft, like 23 to 17, that range of pick, that's going to be a highly competitive draft situation because you can't miss there if you're taking defense.
And you're going to take defense.
Yeah. I mean, you have to take defense. And I do agree that when you compare, again, like with corners, like we were just talking about, the Terrion Arnolds of the world can't miss because he does catch the football. And I feel like when you've watched the Super Bowls lately or you've watched the playoffs lately, those picks, man, ultimately decide games. If you can catch that football and get a pick six, that's how you're going to go out and beat a Patty Mahomes. That's how you're going to go out and beat some of the best quarterbacks in the league. You have to take the 1 or 2 chances you get and maximize them. So, yeah, what was Jacksonville's biggest issue last year? It was defense. They couldn't stop people when they needed to. That was their issue. So, again, that's why I say when you start getting into the meat of the first round, this defensive stuff winds up deciding playoff games. And I'm telling you can't miss with these picks. You have to make sure that whoever you take is going to be a hit. Because if you miss, that there's just not, and you're not coming back from that.
I think Sainer Strill at Michigan's a very interesting prospect as well. He's falling. And it's really interesting that I think, Enos Rakestraw at Mizzou has moved above him now on most people's draft boards. And I think it's a size issue with him. My question is Mike Sainer anything more than a really good special teams player in the NFL? Because I don't think you can put him at corner or safety and feel confident that physically he can hold up. I mean, if you look at the corner board, like Cooper DeJean at Iowa, I think he's going to be a dominant physical on-ball slot corner in the NFL for a decade.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see him move around the field. You can put Cooper DeJean at any position that you want. I think guys like, again, Mitchell, Arnold, Wiggins, McKinstry, I think Kool-Aid is one of those guys that's going to be a jackrabbit in this league. My biggest question about Mike Sainer Strill is, can he stay healthy and play across the board in the NFL? And I don't think he can. I don't think he can. And I think, another guy, TJ Tampa at Iowa State's a really interesting prospect. I was listening to the ESPN front office guy whose name that Field Yates. You know how many radio shows I've done with Field Yates and I couldn't pull his name? Field Yates has talked about him and moved him up. There's a lot of talent there. Corner is going to be a very interesting position. Okay. I know we've run through this and we've flapped our gums. Let's see where you guys come down on this. Let's see. Dakota Tubbs, Will Levis is not a franchise quarterback. It's a fascinating question.
But for Tennessee, right? Because again, it matters who you are.
Yes.
So for Tennessee, Will Levis is close to being a franchise quarterback. He's got to prove he can be productive, though. And that's why they're going to draft offensive line.
And I think you have to give him the chance.
You do.
But I also think it opens you up. I'm not the quarterback class next year, I don't think is fantastic. Now, that changes when we get to the end of September. The draft board for quarterbacks for a year from now is going to be completely different because there's always a dude that emerges. There's always a guy but I think Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback prospect in the draft a year from now.
Yeah.
He's going to have to stay healthy and they're going to have to show he can stay healthy. But you look at the beating that he took and his want to continue to keep going. I think you look at his arm talent is unquestioned. He's a really well coached. He's got great mechanics. If you're Tennessee, I would think I haven't seen a projection outside of Tennessee being the worst team in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
I have not seen that. Carolina is going to be in that mix as well. But I think Tennessee, I agree with you. Will Levis is not a franchise. Yes, there you go. And you said right after that, wait for Shedeur. I think that's what you do.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly right. Quinn Ewers, Christopher Shannon says. Quinn Ewers or Shedeur Sanders?
Shedeur Sanders. I'm not convinced Quinn is going to be a big-time NFL guy. He's a big-time college quarterback, but I'm not convinced yet. I need to see a little more.
Does Sark believe in him? Because one of the interesting things about the Texas football situation, not even going to the SEC, how are you this deep at quarterback? And how is Cooper Manning sitting there dominating your spring session? By all accounts in Austin, Texas, Manning had a phenomenal spring season. Phenomenal. From the practices to the scrimmages to the spring game, he dominated. I watched a good part of the Texas spring game. He was their best quarterback, and I'm not sure it was close. I don't know why Quinn Ewers is still at Texas. I don't know why. I don't know how Sark is going to handle this.
Yeah.
He's going to have so much pressure to play Manning, and he's not going to do it. He's going to play Quinn Ewers. He's going to have so much pressure to play Manning, or Manning's going to transfer, in my opinion. Because you can't just sit and wait anymore. Manning would be a starting quarterback at just about every other program in this country. But he's not, because he's at Texas. Yeah. I think it's the Quinn Ewers story of this season. That's, as far as NFL prospects go, I think Quinn Ewers is one of the most fascinating guys to watch this season, to see, does he earn a first-round grade? And I didn't say overall best quarterback. Does he earn a first-round grade coming out of this season? If he gets hurt again, he's not a first-round pick.
Yeah.
If he sputters, he's not a first-round pick. If they don't look good offensively and Quinn Ewers is their quarterback, he's not a first-round pick. If he loses his job and Manning comes in and dominates, he's not a first 3-round pick.
Yeah.
That's how much is at stake for Quinn Ewers in this season. OG Gary says Cam Ward. You don't bounce around the way Cam Ward is bouncing around. He's going to have to dominate. Because Shedeur Sanders dominated on an offensive line that wasn't really an offensive line. There were dudes that were playing on the offensive line. And he got crushed and kept getting up. I think Shedeur Sanders is by far.
Yeah, Cam Ward's got Geno Smith written all over him, bro.
I don't disagree. Sanders better hope he does not get hurt again, especially a back injury, dude. That's exactly right. Boyd Lake, the SEO King of America. Will Levis is heading into his second season as an NFL QB. This is when we find out if they are any good. On a bad football team. Bad football team. Christopher Shannon says Jackson Dart. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. I'd take a sweaty gym sock over Will Levis. Okay. Someone will pop next season, UW fan Jim says. I agree. Totally agree. Stepanik, good morning to you. Hope you're feeling well. Bobby Fowler, well, Prime has already said he has a list of teams where Shedeur is only he didn't actually say that.
No, he didn't.
He didn't say that. Shooter Texas, drafting a solid QB is far tougher to do than to focus on wide receiver DB in the draft, then get your QB from free agency or trade. The safest pick in the NFL draft has always been and will always be offensive line, especially center and guard. Tackle, little more bust potential. QB is not the biggest bust in the NFL draft. And I think when you start looking at the grades and you start looking at the positions, wide receiver has high bust potential. High bust potential.
Yes.
It's one to watch. Ty Johnson, good morning. Do they trade the third pick to a team that wants a QB or MHJ, though? That's an interesting question. I think that the only thing you're drafting at number 3 in this draft in 2024 is a QB. The only reason you move up to 3 is probably to get Drake Maye.
Yep.
Because I think Jaden's going to the Commanders. And I don't know. I mean, are you... How much do you like Free Harbaugh?
I think he's going to be a smart quarterback. I do think he's got good football IQ, but I don't trust that he can make all the throws. I'll be honest. I don't, Jim will tell you that
it's Jimmy.
Free Harbaugh is the best thing that we've ever seen.
I've never seen a guy with a
Joe Namath.
I've never seen it. I mean, wow. Do you guys remember Joe Willie Namath? I sat down over a cheeseburger with Joe Namath one day in Ann Arbor, and we talked about ways that, JJ could help me get out of the suspension. And then we printed up.
This is a tasty burger.
Yeah, I know, Joe, but we printed up a bunch of T-shirts, and Willie Joe and I, and there happened to be some recruits there that were starving. I had a linebacker come in. He was emaciated. I got to be honest with you. That fucking COVID. The COVID did some shit to these kids. He was emaciated like
the coronavirus.
Yeah, like a chihuahua in the Iraqi desert. And he was emaciated. I bought him a cheeseburger and now I got a 10-year show cost.
Everybody gets a test.
I'm a nice guy. I inject kids with bleach and then we move on. Bobby Fowler. Rumors are that the Colts are eyeing Ayuk. Well, you have your franchise quarterback. We'll see. The 49ers are not going to let Ayuk walk away, and if they do, it won't be cheap. San Diego State, Glenn, talk about two Bengal players who want to be traded, dude. Hendricks and Higgins. What is going on?
Yeah, I mean, those two guys are dudes that are, basically victims of the salary cap. You're victims of the fact that, you had to pay other dudes. And that's all that is.
I don't buy that. I think that T. Higgins is arguably the best wide receiver you have. I think that Trey Hendrickson is your best defensive player. You pay those guys. You're not victims of the salary cap when you're the best at your position.
Oh, I'm not saying they're victims. I'm saying that the Bengals made a choice. The Bengals are like, you decided that Jamar was more valuable than T. You decided that, other people on the roster were more valuable. And this is the consequence of that.
I think Trey Hendrickson is, you don't know who he is. Not many NFL fans probably do. He is an all-pro caliber defender. And he's not, like, people look at him as strictly a pass rusher. He's an elite edge setter. He is a guy that plays with his mind as much as he plays with his body. He's a phenomenal leader, a phenomenal talent. And he demanded a trade from the Bengals yesterday. And he demanded that trade because they won't give him a long-term contract. And I think it's T. Higgins, you can find franchise wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that. Like, do you see the Dallas Cowboys letting Micah Parsons get away? No, they picked up his 5th-year option. Not a question. Yeah, oh, of course we are. Done. Do you understand that edge guys, defensive ends, guys who get after the quarterback, get after the running back, stay home, have gap discipline, have edge discipline? Do you know how difficult it is to find those guys? And they make tons of money. Why did the Bears wind up dumping Khalil Mack? They overpaid him and he didn't perform. But you overpaid a guy because he was arguably the best edge guy available to you. And now, and it's probably an issue with the Bears, he goes to Wales Vagina LA Chargers.
Cheaterland.
And he's been great for them. But you don't let guys like Hendrickson walk away. It's a huge mistake. See me on the big screen. Vikings taking Penix. We'll see. We'll see. Is Indianapolis already coming off of the Richardson train? They're not. I think if you've watched this show for any amount of time, I told you Anthony Richardson's not an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I did too. That was my opinion too.
Jake said he was going to be all pro.
Who the fuck is that guy?
I'm telling you that I don't care what Anthony Richardson has done this offseason. You're not getting off of him because that's your franchise guy. He will not, at the end of the day, perform better than Lamar Jackson, who has not performed all that well in big games. You got to have a pocket first guy. Free Harbaugh, not a pocket first guy. Jaden Daniels, not a pocket first guy. You've got to have a guy who, in any of these quarterbacks, you're going to have to teach him to be under center because anymore the college game is in the gun, right? Big concern for Daniels, big concern for Caleb Williams and the Bears. But the bigger concern is which of these quarterbacks can take a hit and get up. And there's only one guy that's shown the ability to do that, Caleb Williams. Anthony Richardson, what did he do? Lost his shoulder socket outside the pocket. What did RG3 do? Got hurt outside the pocket.
Yeah.
Why is Dak Prescott now one of the elite pocket passers in the NFL? Because he broke his leg outside the pocket. Why is Patrick Mahomes the best quarterback in the NFL? Because he's an elite thrower of the football and he does it in the pocket and out of the pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at a guy, and again, not to pick on Jaden Daniels. The thing that scares you so much about Jaden Daniels is the volume of big hits he's already taken and his inability to connect his arm and his legs, especially outside the pocket.
Yeah.
He's really good in the pocket. What's the problem with that? Well, he doesn't like being in the pocket, and he rarely puts his foot in the ground and throws the football. I won't put my foot in the ground and throw the football is Latin for you're injured and you're not long in the NFL.
First
Honest
team
to God.
all injured reserve.
Honest to God. OG Gary, JJ will also be there in the first part of the second round. I don't know where he goes. I do not. It is stunning to me. Like, I look at the mocks and I look at where teams are picking. If you're Denver at 12, there is no team that's been more heavily linked to free Harbaugh than Denver.
Well, they have the MILF Hunter, dude. Why would they need JJ?
The MILF Hunter.
Yeah.
We're now calling the biggest bust in the last 5 years the MILF Hunter. The Raiders are not a fit for him. The Falcons are not a fit for him. Indianapolis is not a fit for him. The Bears at 9 are not a fit for him.
Bears.
Could be Minnesota at 8. I don't believe they're picking at 8. I don't think they're picking at 11.
Right.
I don't think they're picking at 6 with the Giants. I think JJ McCarthy will be there at 15. 15 to 32, I have no idea how soon after that he goes. I am not buying that you are watching free Harbaugh's tape and saying, dude, this is a quarterback we got to have. My God, that's Jason Bourne.
Yeah, I don't know who's saying that or who would say that because
we've heard the Patriots love, the Vikings love.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of, you don't believe half of the stuff that you hear in this draft.
No.
Show me what you did when the commissioner walked up to the podium. That's what I believe. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. In my opinion, Richardson is a scrub. The Colts need a QB. Well, he may be a scrub, but they don't need a QB. Yeah. He's their guy. In my opinion, Mike Smith, Raiders take Penix. I agree. I think they end up with him. Case Keenum, 2 holes, NFC championship. Case Keenum. Okay. Ty Johnson. Why are you so convinced JJ falls to 11? I could see the Giants taking him. The Giants are not taking quarterback. Unless there is a stunning reversal.
And again, I'm not convinced, but I wouldn't be surprised if he fell to the second round. Because again, I think the hype machine has him at 11. The tape has him in the second round.
I think Daniel Jones, you have a massive financial commitment to him. And you have a situation where, like, if you look at the money that the Giants have and you start to understand their cap situation and you start asking yourself, well, how am I going to extricate my anus from this cap situation?
Sorry, extricate your anus.
Hugh Janus.
And you start asking yourself, well, who's really making the money? Daniel Jones has a $47.8 million cap hit.
Ain't no reset.
No, I didn't stutter. Do you understand that they went out and made the Brian Burns deal, which I thought was huge? This team with Darren Waller, who I don't know how you cheat on her.
Wild.
If that's in fact what happened, he should be banned from the NFL for life because she's a smoke show. But Kayvon Thibodeau, Darius Slayton, who's not on that list anymore? No, I'm being serious. Who's not on that list anymore? What name related to the New York Giants did I not bring up?
Mm-hmm.
Saquon Barkley. He's a Philadelphia Eagle now. You're committed to Daniel Jones. There's no draft a quarterback and cut him. And if you're drafting a quarterback at 11, you're going to have him sit? You're not doing that.
No.
Daniel Jones, for better or for worse, is your huckleberry.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to bring in another quarterback out of the draft at all.
You're in my opinion, the only guy and I mean the only guy that you can draft there, if you are the New York Football Giants,
Yeah.
the Gents,
Yeah.
I think the only guy you can draft there is Neighbors. And I think he's a phenomenal talent. I worry about him. There are questions about that. The Giants have absolutely scouted quarterbacks. I don't think that I don't think they're taking quarterback. How do you make that financial commitment and then just walk away from it?
Yeah, I mean, there's that, and I also think I don't think they would take a quarterback, with the idea of keeping Daniel Jones and having them compete or something. I mean, you wouldn't do that either, obviously. So that's why I say they're not taking quarterback, bro. They should take wide receiver or offensive line.
And tomorrow morning we may have a very different conversation. I agree. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, and Monty Dickhead is wrong. And
hey, Monty.
This comment right here from Ty Johnson turns out to be the truth. I don't know. Free Harbaugh needs a vacuum cleaner repair guy in the backfield and a sign stealer guy. Balake Hoover is probably going to be the first running back taken in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I don't know. It'll be interesting. We'll see what happens there. A lot of you commenting. Appreciate you. Rocking the NFL Draft on the Monty program.
Hey, Monty.
Presented by our good friends at PrizePicks, PrizePicks.com.
Do they have? I haven't looked yet. Does PrizePicks have draft opportunities?
Does PrizePicks have draft opportunities?
Yeah. Does PrizePicks do?
I don't know.
Let's see, real quick. Got
I don't
NFL
think so.
season.
Yeah, I don't.
No, I don't think you. No, I guess not.
No, I guess not. One of your best drops that you never play anymore. That in The Sopranos. He said what he allegedly said. I think if you're prize picking tonight could be a very difficult night. And I want people to understand that, again, and maybe this is just me, and I hesitate to say that the Lakers season could come to an end tonight. But when I look at LeBron James at 42.5 points, rebounds, and assists, it moves a little bit. I'll be honest with you. Not so much a twitch, but it just was a. I'm taking that. I'm taking that.
I've heard that.
I've heard you do that. I'm taking D'Lo for more than 26.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Okay, and let's not kid ourselves here at PrizePicks.com. I look at Luka Doncic, you fucking prick, at 52.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And I ask myself, how fat is James Harden right now? I say not very fat. I think he's still an elite scorer in this league. I don't know where I'm going. I just wanted to say Luka Doncic.
He is a fat ass.
I think James Harden's playing out of his mind. And I think that if we are looking at three-pointers made, here's my question. Do you go with Josh Hart knocking down a three-pointer? I think you do, and I'm taking more.
I'm going Tyrese Maxey.
Well, Tyrese Maxey.
More than 26.5.
Oh, my God, Tyrese Maxey.
Jalen Brunson on a demon.
Tyrese Maxey. Oh!
More than 6.5 rebounds. And Nikola Jokic for more than 9 assists.
Jokic.
Hey, Jokic, dude.
I like it. PrizePicks, PrizePicks.com. It's very simple, less or more. I'm going with a 3-pack of the Los Angeles Lakers. The smoke show known as the Lake Show.
LeCap.
My guy, LeCap, excuse, referee, your mom's house.
Oh.
I'm going with a 3-pack. I'm taking D'Lo, 26.5 points, rebounds, and assists more. Anthony fucking Davis, I'm going 30.5 points and rebounds. I'm going more because it's the big show. It's the day. It's the week. It's the legend. They're going to lose. But I'm taking them. And I'm putting a 25 spot.
Yeah, 25 burger.
to win 62.50.
Yeah.
It's done. It's done. It's done. I can't take 3 guys from the same team.
Nope. Can't take
Okay.
2 guys from the same team.
PrizePicks.com. Download the PrizePicks app. Use the promo code Hey Monty. Use the promo code Monty to get 100% deposit matching. And don't even please. And I'm asking you guys nicely, right? You guys, like I'm respectful of you. That's a lie. I am sometimes often not respectful of you, right? Like I think we all understand that. Such as in like myself, when the Suns die tomorrow, because Kevin Durant is older than dirt and he farts mucilix.
Duh.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some compassion. Jake, make your case. I'm gonna give you here's the floor.
No, Monty,
that's wrong.
Monty.
Is Kevin Durant still one of the elite players in the NBA?
I think on any given night he can be one of the best scorers the league has, but the problem is that this team is not getting into their offense the right way. And I do agree with the folks saying that they need to make adjustments, and that adjustment is giving Isaiah Thomas a chance to initiate their offense. I'm not saying that this guy is somehow going to be their best player or somehow going to be, resurrecting his career. But what I am saying is for a playoff, run here, you got to get your best scorers the best look that you can possibly get them. And they're just struggling to simply initiate offense against this Timberwolves team that is more athletic than them, that wants it more, that is working harder. And so for that reason alone, I would see about bringing Isaiah Thomas in. I would see about him playing point for you so that you have 3 options the defense has to respect. Because once you're in that position, it becomes very difficult to stop an offense who's got 3 of the best scorers in the league. The problem is Kevin Durant's older, right? So he's getting worked by Anthony Edwards. Devin Booker hasn't shown up, and Bradley Beal turns the ball over too much. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was sleeping. I thought you were going to talk about Kevin Durant there. Notice you're not talking about Kevin Durant because
I did just talk about Kevin Durant.
Right at the end. But if the Suns want to win, you got to feature Devin Booker.
Right. How are you going to do that?
Well, you're hoping that old Muslix farter can come through and actually score. You're hoping that Brad Beal, you need
a point
space
guard to initiate the offense.
Yeah, Devin Booker's done that at an elite level all season.
Well, apparently he's not doing it in the postseason.
What's not happening is the Suns are not creating enough space. The Suns are not creating enough space. It is as simple as I can say it. And it pains me because I think we all know we can sit here and talk about it. It pains me because I would like to have his love child, Devin Booker.
Yeah, well.
But you can't have love children if you can't win the MVP of the NBA Finals because you're not playing in the NBA Finals. And when you did, you didn't win. I'm a Devin Booker guy through and through. But you got to put up now. You got to put up now. There's no more of the excuses in Phoenix. They've spent money. You have 3 dudes. Is Brad Beal that dude anymore? I have no idea. But what I know is Devin Booker has to be the engine and the accelerator. Kevin Durant doesn't need to be the guy anymore in Phoenix because I don't think he's capable. Or at least this run, he has not shown he's capable. Kevin Durant.
Feel better?
Is your guy done?
I don't know that he's done. But yeah, I mean, I do think that he's obviously not as dominant as he used to be. And I think that, I do agree. I do tend to agree with the people out there saying that this is the end of the era that we've been waiting for, that we've been kind of forecasting where, Steph, LeBron, and KD are all going to get knocked out of the playoffs, you know, and it's sad, but yeah, I think that I would agree. Book has to do more when he's cooking and he's doing what he does. They're a much better team. And I just don't understand where he goes.
He needs guys to space the floor for him. It's LeBron James. It's every great individual scorer in this league. They need guys who can space the floor. And right now, Kevin Durant is not shooting the ball well enough. Bradley Beal wants to drive to the basket. He doesn't want to shoot the ball. Okay, but you better be a threat at the rim. And I'm not saying that any of those three have played particularly terrible basketball, but which one of those three has played elite basketball?
Yeah, I mean, the issue is that Kevin Durant is not winning his matchup with Jaden, and I think that's the problem. You have to win that matchup, and giving him 25 and 10, and you're putting up. I can't remember what Kevin put up last game, but like you're not doing your job, and you have to overcome. You have to be you have to be the guy that puts the ball in the hole. That's your job. It's been your job. It's why you were brought here. It's why they traded for you. Like, you have to be that. And so that's why I say I do think the Wolves are going to win this series. I think they're working harder. They've got more energy. They are
a better, more gifted team.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
All right. PrizePicks.com. Download the PrizePicks app. Use the promo code Monty. Monty, Monty, to get 100% deposit matching. Hello, Aaron Wilson. Gift to the Monty Show membership.
Next comment.
Why are you not?
Well, because he's, AI botting in the chat. So,
And saying that Gumby's dead when he's not.
Yeah, next
I don't
comment.
disagree. Go Black 45.
Hey!
Go. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Yes, I appreciate with that. Tanner Plumer. Hey, Monty. Who do you have the Eagles taking at 22? I think they trade up. We talked about this earlier. Should probably be here when the show starts, Tanner, but hey, I know.
Oh shit, damn, I am tripping.
Yeah. I think the Eagles need the best defensive. I would go defensive lineman. I think they need the best defensive player, impact defensive player up front. Whether that's edge rusher, whoever you want to point to. You've had a lot of change and a lot of turnover on that defense, and they were terrible last year. I think I would probably be looking to trade up and get pass rusher. That's probably what I would be doing. Disruptor is probably what I would be doing.
Yeah.
If it were me, it's not. But if it were me, that's where I would be going. And I think there's a lot of spots for them to do that. Can they get into the top 15? Because that's where you're going to get your best defensive player. I don't think you can get the best defensive player outside of 13, 14, 15. I think is probably where you're safe. But I think Dallas Turner's gone in the top 12. I think the Atlanta Falcons are not passing on Byron Murphy. I don't see how you would.
Yeah.
I think if you can get up into that range, if you project that Minnesota trades out with Atlanta at 11, or New England at 11, both those teams are taking defense. I'm telling you, New England's a wild card. But I think if you are the Philadelphia Eagles, you'd love to get into the top 12 because then you're almost guaranteed Dallas Turner. But I don't think you're going to sit back and wait to get lucky and have somebody,
Yeah, completely agree.
I don't think you're going to do that. Big Blue Horses, is Dallas all in? Well, they're always all in. They're just not very smart. Will the Bengals pay their wide receiver or edge? Will the Jets still be the Jets? Is Denver a lost cause? Will Kansas City be in the same class, be the class of the NFL? I think those are all not questions for today. I just think when I look at the Dallas, everybody rips the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. You hate them or you love them. I think Jerry Jones every single year does everything he thinks he can do to win a Super Bowl. The problem is he does all the wrong stuff all the time. You're about to repay Ezekiel Elliott because you missed what he brought to the locker room in Dallas. They're going to bring him back, in my opinion.
Do you know what that's like these days?
I think that you have got to, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, I don't even know what you do in this draft. I mean, so many people around you are going to have game-changing talent. I think that you probably are offensive line.
Their offensive line or corner. I think they need, losing Diggs the way they did really, really hurt them.
Yeah, but the left side of that offensive line is dreadful.
It is.
And
it is.
I think it's really hurt Dak. I also wonder, how is the culture in that locker room? Like CeeDee Lamb is an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
I don't I mean, I think that if you can get a Tyler Guyton to match with a Tyler Smith, I mean, you need a tackle that moves. And Guyton is probably the best agile tackle in this draft.
Yeah.
But you're going to be at the bottom of the first round. So that's going to dictate a lot of what you do, right? Mike Smith, if team can draft Daniel Jones or Trubisky as high as they did, a team could take JJ high as well.
But I think the difference is that the belief in like Trubisky, let's say, was so high. Like,
and the tape on Trubisky was amazing.
Yeah, people were just about him. And the problem is I don't believe that people are like, oh my God, I gotta have JJ McCarthy. I think Jim Harbaugh is like, you gotta have JJ McCarthy, right? Like, look at this car. This thing's amazing. But then you go and drive the car, you watch the film, and you're like, yeah, I mean, this guy's good, but it's not like he's like amazing or like all of a sudden he's going to take us to the next level. And that's what I think JJ can't get away from in this draft. And that's why I say I'm steadfast that the Vikings should trade up to number 3 and get Drake Maye, because you are not a franchise that is going to be okay just sitting here sputtering along with no quarterback, no real run game. Like, what are you doing offensively? You're going to be in 3rd and 15 constantly if you don't have a legitimate quarterback back there. So again, that's why I say JJ McCarthy will be an NFL quarterback. I am sure at some point in the next 24 months, he will consistently start for somebody. That should not be the Minnesota Vikings.
Somebody will overpay. Boyd Lake, they're already, they're calling Zachy Poo, quote, the mile-high MILF hunter.
Yes, they are.
In Denver already. I like it. Steve Stepanek, Kansas City Chiefs will pick a wide receiver. Well, I think that's a first spot for Xavier Worthy. I do think there is potential that because what are they? The last pick in the first round.
32nd. Yeah.
I think there's a real, I think you're right. I think they will take wide receiver. It's their obvious need. I mean, he's not going to run faster than Rashee Rice drives, but nothing. Are you kidding me? Anyway, Xavier Worthy's running high 4.2s consistently. That's exactly what they need. They need Randy Moss.
Yeah, it's either Worthy or Mitchell, one of those two from Texas. And I think that you'd love to get Worthy. Worthy is exactly what that offense needs. You need somebody to take the top off the defense so you can open in the middle of the field for Travis Kelce. That's what you need.
I'm really interested to see, because I mean, obviously most people have Malik Neighbors now even or above Marvin Harrison. Those two are very close. But is Mitchell better than Odunze? I actually think he is. Is Brian Thomas better than Xavier Worthy? I don't know. I think Troy Franklin's probably the sleeper wide receiver in this draft. I think that somebody is going to take a flyer on Ladd McConkey at Georgia. And I'm curious, is Ladd McConkey a second-round pick? Well, if he is, there's going to be a run on wide receivers. I just don't. I think Brian Thomas, we've talked about, like, Troy Franklin, he is just so good and so ready and so polished as a receiver. Like, I also look at Keon Coleman at Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's just an alpha dog. He's a murderer. I love that guy. I like Roman Wilson at Michigan. I think he's a good slot receiver in this league. He's really coachable, and he is a dog at the point of attack.
Yeah, he is a possession kind of receiver. There's no doubt he'd be a good guy to have.
But I think it'll be very interesting to see, does Brian Thomas end up the 32nd pick in the first round? They need a guy that can run a straight line and run a straight line really fast.
That's Xavier Worthy, bro.
Right? But he's got a late second round grade, which is shocking to me. I think that I wonder if Mitchell is good enough in the air at the point of attack on the football.
Yeah.
That's the one knock a lot of people have. Brian Thomas, not a question. Brian Thomas, though, is a one-dimensional receiver. He's a guy that sprints down the hash. But man, he's a guy that can go and you just get it near his catch radius is stupid. So it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out. But we'll see. Brandon Butler. I feel like the Giants are going to be the worst team in the NFL next year. I think it's a bounce back year. I think Daniel Jones is better than anybody thinks. And if they get him, Malik Neighbors, if they get him the guy, that's going to be very interesting. I'm curious who the team is that just goes way too high and aggressive on a player. Could it be somebody at 3 taking free Harbaugh?
Yeah. Potentially.
Could be that guy. Bobby Fowler, I think the Giants take a Dunze. You would draft a Dunze over Malik Neighbors. The balls on this guy. That would be unbelievable.
Wait, Monty, do you even watch Huskies football, man? Come on.
I don't. Never heard of them. Something tells me the Giants bounce back this year. They've made some good moves this offseason. They have. Delaric, if the Giants take QB, it'll be the Tulane kid in the second round. Could be. They're not taking QB in the first round. They're not. Stepanek, painted nails or crying has nothing to do with his talent as a quarterback. I would agree with that.
It's got everything to do with his development, though.
Hey, look, Gumby's here. Oh, I thought he was dead. Aaron Wilson.
Hey, Gumby, would you mind changing your name to the Ghost of Gumby Past?
Because Aaron Wilson keeps saying Rip Gumby, which I completely don't understand. Delaric says worthy to the Lions. We'll see. The Lions had better take every available cornerback they can get their hands on.
Seriously.
Because they're big. That's the thing that is just singularly killing them. Is their inability to stop the big play. Period. Mike C. Rodriguez. Hello, Mike. Good to see you. Give me Roger Rosengarten at 54 to the Browns. If that happens, I'd be ecstatic. Where are the Browns projected? I think that's going to be tough.
Anybody, while we're waiting on that, anybody annoyed by Deshaun Watson's football in Saudi Arabia situation happening? Anybody see that? Goes over to Saudi Arabia, meets with a bunch of head honchos over there, and then tweets about how he can't wait and he learned about traditional customs. This is a guy who can't seem to stay out of trouble.
Well, I mean, they have better. No. I'm not playing your stupid game. The fabrics that they use to make washcloth. Yes, I am an asshole, and I am free to. I'm here for it. I'm here for it, and it's fine. It's fine, and I think it'll be
Hiscock.
No, I don't think it'll be Hiscock. Okay.
Hugh Janus.
We should move on. And Rodriguez, I'd like to thank you for bringing up Deshaun Watson's washcloth.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Does he ever live up to the contract or the trade?
I think he does, yeah. I think he'll find his way.
You do?
Yeah, I think he'll find his way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gumby fresh out of the grave. Exactly. NE. Someone is going to take Nick's pick 6 and screw up their draft. Could be. Rodriguez, 54, no first-round pick for the last year. Correct. Cue the Thriller by Michael Jackson. Jake has no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, I do.
He's never even heard Thriller.
Yes, I have.
Where do y'all think Kingsley Suamataia goes? Top of the second round. Kingsley or Morgan could sneak into the tail end of the first round.
Yeah.
You know how much I like tail ends. I think San Francisco's going DB. I think Baltimore's going defense. I think the Washington Commanders. Kingsley, I could see Kingsley being a fit at 29 to the Commanders. I mean, Jordan Morgan's a hell of an offensive tackle, but he's somebody that isn't he? Didn't he? I think 2 sacks, 500 reps.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good player. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I think San Francisco's probably corner, if I had to guess. That's probably Kool-Aid McKinstry, if I had to guess. But it'll be interesting to see that. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know. I don't know where Kingsley, what his best fit is. I think he's probably 29's as early as I could see him going. But I don't know. I mean, if you are Tampa, right? You're going defense. If you're Dallas, you're going offensive tackle, but there's so many other guys that are graded higher than Kingsley there. So I don't see that.
Yeah, he's the top of the second round guy. That's where he should go. That's what makes sense.
What does Miami do?
I think there is a chance that Miami trades up.
You do?
For a wide receiver. Yep. I think there's a chance that happens.
Where are they right now? They are 21. But what do you do with? I mean, if you're trading up, who are you trading up to get?
Well, it depends who they value, right? I mean, I think that this is where it begins to be difficult to kind of speak factually about what a team's going to do, because the draft is so subjective, right? I mean, you're so dependent on how a front office views, like Xavier Worthy as an example, right? Like if Miami said, hey, we're one burner away from winning or going to the AFC championship game, let's say, because I still don't believe they'd beat Kansas City. But let's say, hey, we're one burner away from being able to handle Buffalo. We're one burner away from winning our division and going to the AFC championship game. Okay, let's go and get Xavier Worthy at 21, right? Or, hey, we feel like maybe, we can trade down and we're still going to get talent, and we're going to get more picks in the second round, right? I mean, that could happen too. So that's why I say it's really hard to kind of predict what they're going to do. But I think their biggest need is clearly wide receiver. You need more targets for Tua to throw to, because right now you're kind of pigeonholed into Tyreek and everybody else, right? Like Tyreek's going to get double covered every single time, right? Corner with safety help.
But do you need who's not an Brock Bowers? Do you need
Depends how you want to go about it. I mean, need or want based on your system. Like if you're smart, yeah, you'd be going tight end, not burner, because you already got a burner in Tyreek.
Can you imagine them adding Xavier Worthy?
Yeah. So but then if that's your strategy, hey, we've got 2 guys who are one's going to play in the slot, one's going to play outside, and they're going to be on opposite sides of the formation. Do you know the kind of trouble that will cause?
All you're trying to do, man, if you draft Xavier Worthy, you're trying to manipulate defenses. And that's what Mike does a lot in Miami. I mean, I think right now, the biggest problem for Tyreek is he has to run a long way to catch the ball. And I think that hurts him at times. Xavier Worthy fixes that.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have Tyreek underneath now. And if you look at the way that Tyreek Hill is used in their offense, he's a guy that's going to run 45 yards to get to a particular spot to catch the football. The problem with that is it's very telegraphed in their offense, and they don't generally have another guy that can pull that safety. So Tyreek Hill is often one-on-one in a what's the cone of violence, as people call it in the NFL, in the hitting zone. He's often very squared up to a safety, which they're trying to undo. So I think Xavier Worthy or a guy of that velocity could do that. I mean, if you have Xavier Worthy running through a space that's then filled by Tyreek Hill, now you're cooking with gas in that offense because Tua has become very accurate with a lot of juice on the football, with a lot of heat on the football. And he's only done that because you need that precision with Tyreek Hill. That takes pressure off of Tua, but Tua is also one of the elite deep ball throwers in the NFL.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that makes a lot of sense because you also don't need to worry about him protecting him because he's also going to only probably have 5 guys coming after him. Because you're not, if you have Xavier Worthy and Tyreek Hill lined up oppo and you have a slot guy, which they have 5 slot receivers there, you're going to have a very difficult time blitzing him.
Yeah.
Especially off of the edge, which has been Miami's Achilles heel.
Yeah, you're not playing one-on-one against Miami. Dude.
Yeah, that corner blitz has been something they've struggled with. So I think that's a very interesting question. You know. Lakefront Bears. Chris, we need parking spots on the lake. Don't know. I'm not going back. If the Monty Show had a draft of commenters, who's the number 1 pick? Well, Chris, you're the number 1 pick.
Duh.
You're the number 1 pick.
That's tough.
That is tough.
It's a daily award, not an all-time award.
Hey, playa, Josh Allen owns the Miami Dolphins. I don't believe I could be wrong. I haven't looked. But in their ownership hierarchy tree, I don't believe Josh Allen is listed as an owner of the team.
What?
I could be. Now, Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears. He's on like their documents and their deed of trust. You know. Did you see that the Jets are having buyer's remorse on Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, the savior is no longer the savior, huh? Jackasses.
You can't build a stadium and not have parking spaces in your renderings. I'm so mad at the Bears. And actually, I'm not going to say, I'm mad at the Chicago Bears. This stadium, Karn, you're not pulling me in. I'm not doing it. Rodriguez, about the Watson contract. Funny how many thought it would put the Browns in cap hell. They signed all their starters back, got Judy too. Meanwhile, Cincinnati can't pay Higgins and Hendrickson. Well, the only problem is you're paying Deshaun Watson to fold washcloths, not play quarterback, because the guy can't stay on the field. And I have no problem with that deal, other than, well, the whole massage therapy thing. But I have no problem with paying Deshaun Watson that money in that contract. None whatsoever. But he's got to stay healthy and he's got to perform.
Yeah.
The contract's not the problem. He's the problem.
100%.
Your best ability is your availability. And when you got a hundo guaranteed, you had flipping better be available. And he's not. That's the biggest issue. Ryan Smith's receding hairline.
Dude, that is an all-time account name.
Can somebody please donate a membership so that that can be a member?
Please.
Okay,
what was the comment?
I know a thing or two about manipulating, and we show up.
Dude.
We show up.
I like that's one of the greatest comment names I've ever seen.
Don't blink.
OG Gary. Need my Saints to either draft Penix or another top QB of Brock at 14. That's going to be tough. The Saints are in a position where I think you've got to stop doing that. You have to stop taking flyers on guys and actually build a football team.
Yes.
Build your offensive line. Build your defensive line. Build running backs. Build wide receivers. Build corners. Then go get a QB. Then go waste your money on Derek Carr, the great stealer of crab at Publix. Like, quarterback, in my opinion, is not their biggest problem. Their biggest problem is they don't have the core positions handled in New Orleans. They don't. And I want it to be. I want. The problem is Ramchek's got this knee injury that won't stop. And I think that, how do you pass on Fasciano from Penn State there? Because he'll be there.
Yeah.
He'll be there. Oh, look at that. Look at that. My guy, Brandon Butler, giving Friday started early with 5 Monty Show memberships.
Okay, now Ryan Smith's receding hairline. Please go and pick that up.
I'm really hoping. And he got one.
Let's go.
Let's go. And he got one. Make sure you guys hit the like button, please.
That
helps the Monty Show grow.
How has nobody taken up the Utah Yetis as a name yet?
I don't know. Brandon Butler. Ryan Smith's receding hairline says
in the
thank you.
profile picture, though, too.
Brandon Butler, I got you, Monty. Yes, you do, friend.
Hey, Monty.
Yes, you do. Go Chelsea Football Club. I love taking other people's money.
Oh, my God. Dude.
Would you like to donate to my stadium fund, Brandon?
Dude.
What are we doing?
Whoa, the troll account.
Dude.
How about Big Daddy Magic getting a picture with Ryan Smith yesterday? How about that?
Yeah. We show up.
That's very interesting.
I just want everyone in the comments section to know this is how you troll. This is proper trolling technique right here. You've got the name. You're playing to the stereotypes of the story. Like, that's proper trolling technique.
Whoever you are, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you so much.
That is awesome.
Gumby Fresh Out, Savage.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, speaking of Savage, before we get out of here today, can we talk about McDonald's? You guys know I like you guys. I enjoy this show.
Why don't you fuck off?
What is your seriously, what is your obsession with McDonald's? I need to understand this as somebody who doesn't eat fast food very often.
Yeah, not a big 50-piece nugget guy.
I got on the scale this morning.
Yeah.
I've lost 8 pounds. And you know why? Because I'm not eating out. I ate out yesterday. I had a turkey cranberry sandwich.
A sando.
I had a sandwich for lunch yesterday that was Corner Bakery. Amazing. Anyway, when I do eat fast food, McDonald's is about the last thing that I think about. I love me some filet of fish. But you guys understand that McDonald's is by far the most popular fast food restaurant in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to understand it. Do you know that McDonald's is by far the most Googled fast food restaurant in the country? Now, how much credit and credence does that give, Jake? What was number 2?
Wasn't it Chick-fil-A?
I thought it was Domino's Pizza.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was the outrage. Yes, Domino's, then Chick-fil-A. Yes.
I throw you a lob.
Mm.
And you
Don't fuck.
just say Domino's.
So it's such a shocking selection at number 2, much like the draft tonight. This is such a shocking list that
the draft
that I can't understand it. So if McDonald's wasn't insulting enough at number 1, Domino's at number 2 is even more insulting.
The actual fuck?
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein's conviction has been overturned.
Yeah.
In a stunning 4-3 decision, New York State's highest court overturned the conviction. How? How? Are you? Is that?
What are we doing?
What? How did that? Harvey.
Where is Harvey Weinstein?
They had shown prejudice by allowing women to testify about allegations that were not part of the case. Harvey Weinstein's conviction overturned because a judge allowed biased testimony. That's unbelievable.
Dude.
The court has now ordered a new trial. They must start from the beginning. That's shocking to me.
And it
That
sucks.
is shocking. Harvey
don't know
Weinstein's
why we do
conviction
this.
has been overturned.
Like, how?
That's wild. That's wild. Wow. Tanner Plummer. Harvey Weinstein. Oh, excuse me. I want to drive. How?
Schemers trying to control their little worlds.
Okay, can we go back to McDonald's? Have anyone seen the videos of people showing McD's cheeseburgers 20 years or more? Yes. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
Yeah.
Okay, so why are we... Yes, Gary, Domino's over Chick-fil-A.
Like, this is what I'm saying. How it, like, okay, McDonald's, while it's a garbo take, I get it.
But are you eating at McDonald's?
No. But the problem is that a lot of people do. And the problem is they're a freaking real estate company, dude. They've got many locations that they're on every corner. There's like 4 of them inside of a quarter mile, dude. Like, that's the thing.
And I will say, I was playing some golf last night over at River Oaks in Sandy, and there was a McDonald's wrapper in one of the bunkers.
Yeah, like
so people do eat that. And the line at the one in the district by the crib here is
always pumping.
Yeah, I mean there's a McDonald's very close to my house, and it is always packed. Yet the Jack across the street's empty. The Jack. So where I live, there is a big retail complex 5 minutes down the road. There's a McDonald's, a Cane's, and a Jack in the Box. The Cane's is almost now not very busy all the time. It's died off. Did you know that Cane's is going to open over 100 stores this calendar year? And they have
what are you talking about, man?
They have 90 coming in the next, I think it was 6 months, 5.5 months. 90 Cane's restaurants are going to open before the year's over. 100 total this year. Wild. Who eats at Cane's?
A lot of people, clearly.
Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe my taste is just.
But to have Domino's at number 2 is just outrageous. I mean, again, you look at some of the options that are, lower down this list, and it's incredible to me. So you have Domino's at 2. Chick-fil-A at 3.
Okay, I understand Chick-fil-A.
Taco Bell at 4. How is Taco Bell at 4? Then you've got Pizza Hut.
Wait. You guys, Domino's at number 2. $9 billion in sales last year. McDonald's did $54 million in sales. Number 1, $54 million. Number 2, $9 million. Let that impact you.
I mean, good Lord.
What do you hate about Taco Bell? Everything.
It makes me sick.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, their Mexican pizza at Taco Bell is elite. That's the only thing I generally could tell. And I know this is controversial. Del Taco's better than Taco Bell.
Agreed.
Right? Taco Bell fourth, $12.1 million or 12.1 million average monthly searches, followed by Pizza Hut 10 million, Chipotle 9.8, Subway 8.4, Burger King 7.7. Like, it's shocking to me. It's shocking to me that that McDonald's has this kind of Q factor.
Yeah.
I know their breakfast fine. Okay, the McGriddle's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't eat at McDonald's.
No.
I don't. Yeah. Yes, Tanner, Jack in the Box is better than McDonald's.
100%.
There's no doubt about that. Gumby fresh out. Domino's is greater than Five Guys.
No, dude. Gumby, get your ass back in the cell, dude. That's one of your worst takes, bro.
That's why you said it. Mike Smith, McDonald's is very small town compared to most fast food joints. Well, that's interesting. See, I think McDonald's has your imagination. I think Brandon Butler talked about, like Happy Meals and Nuggies.
Yeah.
Kids want Happy Meals. They want chicken nuggets. They want their dino friends.
I want my French fries. I agree. They're everywhere. That's why they dominate.
Brandon Boutler, because Taco Bell is what you eat at 2 a.m. when you have been hitting the Mexican lettuce.
No, that's Jack in the Box, sir.
McDonald's because your kids want a Happy Meal and you want them to shut up. You shut your mouth.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
I will say my parents used to leverage McDonald's against me. If you're gonna mouth off this way, you won't get any nuggies.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Dude, I will never forget the first time I ever said shit in front of my mom. She lost her shit and
Don't blink.
oh man. Remember back in the day when you could actually like discipline your kids with your hands? I remember that.
I just try to stand strong.
UW fan Jim, McDonald's breakfast is not bad. No, it's good. I agree. Ed Enriquez, as a guy living in Doha right now, I gladly take Taco Bell. What's up, Doha? Golf is supposedly great there. Eric Wasikowski, Taco Bell beef greater than Del Taco. I don't eat beef. I eat chicken. I couldn't tell you.
Chicken.
Sir Bob Loblaws, McD's historically had better commercials by far.
Agreed.
By far. You're going out to eat today, fast food, you're going to
Jack.
I would agree.
Without hesitation, Jack.
I will admit, though, like last night I didn't eat dinner. So I had my usual 1 cup of oats with a bunch of blueberries and blackberries for breakfast. I put creatine and cinnamon in there. Amazing. I don't eat anything until lunch. Yesterday I had the turkey cranberry. Tuesday, I had ground turkey on a sweet potato with salsa and black beans. Like, I just feel better when I don't eat fast food, when I don't eat out. Like that steak we told you about the other night. We wanted to celebrate 100,000 subscribers on the channel, right? So we're like, oh, the girls booked us this beautiful eat out dinner. And Jake and I were working the other day because all we do is work together. And we're like, why don't we just roll out the smoker when we get home, get some steaks?
Yeah.
And we did. We got 3 fillets. My wife made this roasted mushroom potato medley. It's the best dinner I've had in some time. I'm telling you, eating out in fast food in this country is broke.
Yeah.
It's broke. It's too expensive. We're paying people $18 to $21 an hour to flip burgers.
Yep.
And I think it's broke. That's what I think.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's just better to eat at home. I hate it, but it's true. And every time I make myself a good meal, I'm like, damn, dude, I don't regret it. Took 20 minutes, but well worth the time.
No, I agree. Yeah, the kids want tendies. The first time I dropped an F-bomb in front of my dad, he chewed me out for like 10 minutes. Looking back, it was kind of fun. You guys may know this. I curse from time to time. I don't have a problem with it, but I will not forget. I think we were at one of my uncle's houses when I was a kid. And I was arguing with my brother, I think. And I'll never forget. I said, I don't give a shit. And my mom was sitting next to me and she backhanded me right in the face. And it was one of those moments where it was like,
it's easy hindsight.
And my mom is that certain types of person who just didn't give a shit. Like, and it was instant. You know how like you have certain reflexes that just happen. Like when you got to fart, you lean on your left cheek. We all do it. My mom had that backhand on on a
speed dial.
Hit the button, that thing's smacking you in the face. And I just remember, I don't remember if it hurt or not. I'm sure it did. But I just remember being like, okay.
And I'll drop that motherfucker.
That's how we were disciplined as kids. It's why I beat Jake every day.
Right.
Like, it's
That's
how
what they do.
I don't think I've ever physically disciplined you.
Don't think so.
I can't remember a time I ever did that. But it happened more than once. Like, I mean,
It's a different time.
I remember my mom was standing up when I criticized dinner and smacked me right in the back of the head.
Why
Hard.
don't you fuck off?
You just didn't do that. You just don't and not Like I believe she stepped into that one. But you can't do that anymore.
Did she pull out the belt on you too?
Oh, multiple times. Multiple times. I called my sister a bitch once.
Oh
my God. The worst part about that, I guess we're going to retell beatings from my childhood. We lived in a town called Lincolnshire, Illinois.
Yeah.
Or no, I guess it was Northbrook. It was Northbrook because we were in the basement. We were playing. I remember some of these. We were playing, me and my brother used to play sock hockey in the basement. You know, like you make a sock ball and you play hockey with it. And my sister wanted us to do laundry. And I vividly remember her saying that. And I said, "You're being a bitch."
No.
Just like, like as a snotty ass kid. I don't know how she heard it, but my mom heard it because, well, fuck, she hears everything. She came downstairs with a belt, and I did not see her coming.
I think I've hit it every time.
Oh my God. Dude.
Oh.
And I just remember laying on the floor in stunned awfulness, crying, and her pointing down at me. We don't try to. Okay.
Because it's illegal.
I remember that. I remember my sister getting the belt because she stole. My sister went to a convenience store and stole fake money. You remember as a kid, you could like buy dollars and cents? Like they had little toy kits of fake money. My sister stole that money from a place called Venture. There was a store called, it was Walmart before Walmart. Oh man. Dude, I could tell stories.
Yeah.
I could tell my mother. Last one. I remember that I did not want regular cola. When we were a kid, my parents used to buy those 2 liters of orange soda.
Yeah.
Strawberry soda, cola soda. I wanted the strawberry soda. I used to love strawberry cream soda. It was my favorite drink as a fat kid. I was not a fat kid, but anyway. I wouldn't drink the cola. And I just remember my sister, my older sister, used to be like the nice one that would take care. I was the youngest. She was the oldest. She always looked out for me. And she poured me some regular cola and I wouldn't drink it. And I'm sure I said some snooty thing. My mother picked up that cup and threw it at me.
Know your role and shut your mouth.
And I remember it was a plastic collector Cubs cup that we got from 7-Eleven. Like, dude, you didn't play around. I grew up in an Italian-Irish household. You did not play around.
Yeah, that's wild, dude.
When you work hard and you provide, your kids should be thankful for that. And I as a 10-year-old was not thankful for that cola that day. I wanted strawberry soda and I don't even regret it. I do not even regret. I'm not upset about it. Like,
yeah,
at all. Chris Karn, between Venture, The Belt, and the Bozo Show, I think we grew up in the same house. Dude, I was on the Bozo Show. I played the little, I can't remember what it was called, the little ping pong, throw the ping pong in the buckets game. I won prizes on the Bozo Show.
Damn.
Yeah, dude, in my house, you did not mouth off at my parents. You did not. She sent my friend Kent home for mouthing off. We had in this particular house I lived in, we had a big backyard and we played baseball in the backyard. It was probably not a big backyard, but it felt big at the time. And I just remember my mom did a barbecue for all my friends. My mom used to cook for all my friends all the time. And he made some snide remark about the kind of hot dogs that my mom bought and made on the grill. Dude, he was out. And the next time he came over, I didn't even have to tell him. He walked over to my mom and gave her a hug and apologized. And all was forgiven. And then we broke the neighbor's window and all hell broke loose. Oh, man. The violence that ensued from breaking the neighbor's window. We used to put... I was a bad child. We used to put duct tape on a plastic, those yellow wiffle ball bats. You guys remember those?
Yes.
We used to put duct tape on those and use a league ball, we called them, like a hard baseball, regular baseball, and play baseball in our backyard. But we had a fence, and right on the other side of the fence, who knew? Windows in a house.
Oh, who knew?
Well, we knew after we put the window through the ball through the window, like for the third time. Oh my God. The other thing that I remember, are we telling Monty discipline as a kid stories? My mom used to hate when I would leave clothes on the floor in my room. I never wanted to clean my room. She told me to clean my room. And I was like, okay. And so what I used to do is I used to just go upstairs. My room was at the top of the stairs, turn left. I used to just go up the stairs. I had a little basket for all my dirty clothes. I used to pick up my dirty clothes, put them in the basket, and then I would leave. I will never forget coming home. All of my clothes were on my bed. The sheets and blankets from my bed and the pillowcase were on the floor. All, not my clean clothes, not my dirty clothes. They were all on my bed. And I had to do my laundry, fold all those clothes, and change my sheets and make my bed. And I would have sat there for hours. She did not care. You're not going to disrespect the money that it took to buy those clothes. Like, dude. I think that's part of the reason, like, I make my bed. I try to fold my clothes when I do. I'm adult now, too. But
yeah.
Taylor Smith, Monty's mom is hot. Okay, could be. Duct tape greater than duct tape. Exactly right. Hobo Kelly told me there was a present behind my red chair on her TV show. It was a hamster. Okay. Mike Smith, we got in trouble shooting arrows that went up and came back down in the neighbor's yard going into a truck topper. I think the only time I saw my mom really freak the F out, other than, hey, you disrespected me, my friend Keith Horowitz and I used to light bullets on fire in barbecues. Yeah, that happened like twice. Oh my God. No, that makes me remember like dropping an M80 down the sewer. Oh my God. I got in a lot of trouble for that. That was not good. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. My mom got super pissed when I left clothes on the floor. It worked on me because now I never leave my clothes on the floor. My mom hated that.
Mm-hmm.
Hated that. Sir Bob Lob, always leave your clothes on the roof. That's what I'm saying. I don't wear clothes, Gumby Fresh Out says. I understand. I got in trouble throwing grapefruits at cars going by. Oh, dude. Okay, here's the ultimate story. So, I don't even remember the kid's name. We had a friend in Lincolnshire who lived at the end of our street. I lived on Spring Lake Drive. End of our street, he had a big, long house, and when it snowed, we used to throw snowballs at passing cars, and then we would run through this field and hide in this kid's house. Well, I had glasses as a kid, and I had a very good arm as a kid. And so I threw the, why are people sending me codes? Am I trying to get hacked? I did not. I don't need that code if you just got sent one. Clicked on the wrong login. Okay, good. So I had a very good arm. And now we have to go. But so real quick, made snowballs, and all of us were throwing snowballs at these cars. Everybody missed except me. I even remember that it was a Toyota, whatever I think it was like pickup truck thing. Might have been a Nissan. Who cares? A pickup truck. I hit the pickup truck, and I will never remember that guy slamming on the brakes. He slid like 5 feet. We all ran like a bat out of hell. Somebody forgot to tell me there was a low-hanging tree branch there.
Oh.
Knocked my glasses off. I fell down. Couldn't find my glasses. I took off running. The worst thing as a kid for me was having to go home and tell my mom I broke my glasses. I used to do that shit all the time. It was bad enough I had to wear glasses, but then I broke my glasses.
Sucks.
And then the pickup truck pulled up in front of my house. Because this kid Calvin got caught apparently and told the pickup truck driver where I lived.
Damn.
And the guy was cool about it. There was no damage, but my mom came in the house and did not say 2 words to me the rest of the day. And the worst part was the guy brought my glasses back after we had gone to Lens Crafters and bought new.
Better send those refunds.
And I don't think it was the same guy. I actually think it was somebody's parents who found them and brought them back like a day later.
Yeah.
Oh, she was so pissed. Holy cow. Oh my God. Dude, she was so mad.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just livid. The Monty Show, as always, is presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The Chicago Bears transformed their football club in the history of Chicago sports tonight. If they don't, I probably won't be here tomorrow. Free Harbaugh.
Screw him.
The Patriots will make a trade. And when you get hurt at work, you're going to go to The Advocates at theadvocates.com, where you can chat with an attorney live online for free, because you don't pay the advocates unless and until they win your case. Until tomorrow. No, just say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.